It's like something out of a nightmare. A medieval saw on an ancient giant.
Oh, man, that is huge!
Brady's hot on the tail of the sawfish.
Oh, you touched your saw!
To find out why this saw is one of the most dangerous snouts on the planet, he'll plunge into this mystery and round up some oddballs of the fish world to hunt down clues in their bizarre snouts. All to answer a question. Why does the sawfish have a saw? As a biologist, Brady Barr has spent decades encountering some of the weirdest creatures on the planet.
Woohoo! We got an electric eel!
Studying a broad range of behaviors and adaptations, including unique weapons for survival.
Look at the feet! Look at that!
Spikes, fins, coils, fangs. However outlandish the body design, there's always a good reason for it.
It's all about form and function, but there's one that's so bizarre, so freakish looking, it really makes me wonder. It's the sawfish, with a nose like a hedge trimmer and a body that can reach lengths of 20 feet. I want to know why this fish looks the way it does. My investigation starts right now.
The sawfish is a rare, mysterious giant. Closely related to sharks, skates, and rays, it's an ancient cocktail of a creature, fusing a shark's tail with a ray's flattened body. But one thing makes this fish unique. Its super long snout studded with needle-sharp teeth, the saw. The fish has spent millions of years perfecting this body design, but no one knows for sure exactly what the saw is for, or why this fish needs teeth outside its mouth. The investigation begins in the only place in the U.S. where you can find sawfish. The first stop, Cape Coral, Florida. To link up with Greg Palakis and Amy Timmers of Florida's Fish and Wildlife Research Institute.
We're gonna set a net right over here off this point, Brady. We'll back the net up.
And how long is the net?
200 yards.
Their research site is a sawfish nursery, where Brady's hoping to see one of the rarest, weirdest, and most endangered fish on the planet.
Why are these sawfish here? What makes this particular spot special?
This is prime habitat for juvenile sawfish. They tend to like these shallow, sandy, flat areas associated with these, mangroves along the shoreline.
The sawfish is actually a ray, and like many rays, it breeds in shallow coastal areas like these mangroves. But although this bizarre fish can be found so close to people, very little is known about it. No one knows exactly how many sawfish still exist in the wild. Greg and Amy are trying to estimate the sawfish population by tagging juveniles in this nursery.
We got the net in the water, it's in position, now it's simply a waiting game.
They're looking for any small movement. The sawfish is a bottom dweller. Two holes called spiracles behind the eyes pump water over its gills, so it can breathe even when it's motionless on the sea floor.
What's the bird on here?
There might be a sawfish in the net, and they'd never know it. So Greg and Brady are going to check.
Woo! So we do need to try to keep an eye out for stingrays.
Absolutely. Do the stingray shuffle, Brady. Shuffle your feet.
Through the sand?
Yeah, it's not foolproof, but it does help to avoid an interaction with one of those.
Stingrays are flat as a disc and hard to spot. But if you step on one, it can stab you with the poisonous barb on its tail.
Have you stepped on one before?
Yeah, I got nailed one time.
Did they have to remove the barb? Was it stuck in you?
Had to have an operation and whatnot. But...
Oh, gosh.
And there's another sawfish relative out here, bull sharks.
There's a lot of juvenile bull sharks. It's a nursery area for them as well, so keep an eye open for them.
That's great. So we got stingrays, bull sharks, sawfish. Probably gonna tell me there's jellyfish in here too. Oh, see it?
They've just found their first catch of the day.
It's a sheep's head. It's a fish. Yeah, I forgot to shuffle my feet over here. And they have got teeth. I mean, they're almost like human teeth. And what do these things eat, do you know?
They eat a lot of oysters and, you know, hard prey like that. That's why their teeth are like that.
I don't want to be bitten. Whoa! Wait, look at those. Look at those teeth. Is that the goofiest looking fish? Look at that. That looks like some of my relatives down in Texas. All right.
Sawfish were once so abundant, they were a common catch for fishermen all along the coast from the Carolinas to Texas. But commercial fishing and trawling, starting in the 1960s, wiped out entire sawfish populations.
You know, it was a bycatch issue for them. You know, they were trying to catch other fish, you know, that were commercially valuable to them. And, you know, as you can imagine, the sawfish even think about getting near a gill net.
Oh, swimming around with a big saw on your nose. You're gonna get caught in any net, any little piece of net out there.
This overfishing, along with habitat loss, may have killed up to 95% of small-toothed sawfish. Today, the fish is on the U.S. list of endangered species.
Is it safe to say there isn't a lot known about this species in terms of life history or biology?
Yeah, absolutely. No one ever studied them when they were abundant, so we're trying to learn as much as we can with the population that's left here in Florida.
The fish's saw, or rostrum, is still a big mystery, even to scientists. The goal is to piece together whatever is known by watching the saw in action.
Look, right there, there's something in the net, right there, see it? That's a sawfish. Look at that.
It's a newborn, barely 2 to 3 weeks old, but it's already armed to the teeth.
Those teeth are needle sharp.
There's a reason these teeth are outside the fish's mouth. They're not teeth at all. They're modified scales.
Now that thing, it can lash that saw back and forth, right?
Yeah, they're pretty strong side to side, so we'll just try to be careful.
Whoa, there it goes, right there.
It looks tough, but the saw is actually quite flexible. That's because sawfish have no bones. Like sharks and rays, their body is all cartilage, the stuff that makes our noses stiff, but also flexible.
Wow, it's incredible. I hadn't anticipated it being very rigid, very hard. The platypus bill is flexible like that.
It uses its long, leathery muzzle to grub around rocks for prey. Here's the first clue to what the saw is for. A baby sawfish starts fending for itself almost immediately after birth. Some scientists think it uses its flexible saw like a platypus to root out shrimps and crabs on the sea floor.
This is kind of like its own little swimming pool here in the back of the boat. That's awesome. I mean, it doesn't look stressed out. And now that the guy's swimming, you can really see that he is built for an existence on the bottom. That flattened body, that saw that goes right along the bottom. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just kind of foraging around on the bottom.
Even on a baby, the saw is key to this fish's survival. It's an ideal tool to grub for food, especially in these first few weeks of life. By injecting a pit tag, Greg will follow this baby's progress in the coming months.
And a pit tag, it's like a grocery store scanner.
Yeah, unique number for each fish.
Doesn't really hurt the animal, yet it's a permanent way of marking the animal. You know, those young kids are all about piercings.
Tracking these juveniles will help Greg identify their habitat range.
Here we go, right here.
Time to release the baby sawfish.
Hey, you got a sawfish. How big is it? 5 feet.
Greg's colleagues have netted a larger sawfish down the bay. At the location, the team checks the net.
What's that? Oh,
Just an oyster. Not a whole lot bycatch-wise, but
Right here, right here, right here. Big splash.
In there, it's
That
in
is
there good.
big. Man, that is a good one. That's big. Careful, 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 careful. Hang on, hang on, hang on.
The second sawfish of the day, about 6 feet long and with teeth to match.
I guess I would prefer to be down here on the less toothy end, and I'll hold him, and maybe you can try to get him out.
You're not scared, are you, Brady?
Well, I'm not scared, but I'm not stupid either.
And what we'll do is I'll get my gloves on, and we'll just we'll walk this net right off his rostrum.
This is incredible, man. This is a big fish. This is probably 2 meters. This is maybe a 6-foot sawfish. Can you imagine one of these that's 18 or 20 feet long and maybe weighs over 1,000 pounds? Oh, hey, he's moving, he's moving. Come on, how long does it take to get some gloves? Those are some serious teeth. So that's about the size teeth you'd find on about a 6-foot croc.
No wonder Greg's putting on reinforced gloves.
The teeth are really sharp, so it really helps us handle the animals safely. They play possum, you know, they're really mellow.
Yeah.
And then just all of a sudden, they'll just kind of go side to side, so you really need to pay attention.
Crocs do the same thing. They will lull you into a false sense of security. You think, oh, this animal's scared, I'm gonna kind of loosen my grip a little bit, and just as soon as you do, bam!
After years of working with crocs, Brady knows their danger zone. A croc can strike in a surprisingly wide arc. Its head can swing over 90 degrees, and it often uses this maneuver to ambush prey. Brady doesn't realize it, but he's about to step into the sawfish's danger zone.
I've been bitten by some big pythons before, and they don't have teeth anything like this. I think this thing would just tear you up. Okay, now we're gonna go up and over. 1, 2, 3. Let go.
Get you?
He got me.
You all right?
Just that quick.
Brady's lucky. It's just a scratch.
Didn't take long.
I mean, I think I just took one tooth. Need to be careful when we're gathering data on this guy.
It's evident how the sawfish uses its saw as a deadly weapon. It swings that toothy rostrum sideways like a croc. In this case, it was a defensive swipe. But research suggests it also uses it to kill prey.
Do they use it to slash through schools of fish and maim prey? Is that?
Yeah, I've seen them do that myself, and I've talked to a lot of guides that have seen them chasing, you know, bait fish, so they definitely use it for that.
Many fish species use parts of their bodies to herd or slash prey. A thresher shark uses its sharp tail to stir up the water, trapping fish in a giant whirlpool. A sailfish uses its spear-shaped upper jaw to bullet through schools of fish. And recent lab experiments reveal that a sawfish uses its saw in a particular hunting technique. It moves in sudden bursts, swiping its saw to stun and maim prey before returning to swallow it whole. It doesn't have the sailfish's blinding speed, but it uses its rostrum with great accuracy. It'll even skewer individual fish on its teeth, scrape the fish off, and suck it into its mouth.
I got it.
You ready?
Yep.
Now that Greg's tagged the fish, it's good to go.
Let's go. And back in the water. Whoa! Yep. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah! Man, I'm into that. I got sawfish fever. It was just great. And that rostrum. Man, that has got to be one of the most bizarre appendages in the animal kingdom.
As bizarre as it looks, the sawfish's saw is actually one of the most evolved body designs in the fish world. Some scientists think that when the first sawfish ancestors grew a snout, they didn't have teeth. It took at least 100 million years to create the first toothed saw, but it had replaceable teeth, like sharks. The current saw has evolved to hold needle-sharp, permanent teeth that grow with the fish. Brady's finally beginning to understand why the fish has spent so much time honing this body part. The sawfish uses its saw to dig prey out of the seabed. And it can be a weapon for defense and attacking prey. But could the fish be using it for much more than that? In many animals, the snout plays a vital role in sensing. And the longer the snout, the more sensitive it usually is. An elephant's trunk can detect water 12 miles away, and an anteater smells 40 times better than we do. So could the sawfish's long snout be more than just a weapon? Could it also be a sensory organ? To find out, Brady will explore a different fish, one that has a snout loaded with almost every sense organ in the fish world, the white sturgeon.
For the next phase of my investigation, I've come to the deepest gorge in the States, Hell's Canyon here in Idaho, and I'm in search of the largest freshwater fish in North America, the white sturgeon.
The sturgeon and the sawfish have plenty in common. They're both ancient fish, swimming since the time of the dinosaurs. They're both big, growing close to 20 feet, and built from the same stuff, cartilage. And they're both bottom dwellers, living in murky waters, hunting similar prey with their long snouts. By learning how the sturgeon's snout works, Brady will get an insight into how the sawfish's saw works. And Brady's in the right place to do that.
Awesome.
The Snake River is legendary for its sturgeon fishing. Joe DuPont from Idaho Fish and Game monitors the sturgeon stock in the river. He and Brady are going fishing to get a close look at the sturgeon's sensory snout.
Believe it or not, these little fish here really go after this.
Really?
Yeah.
When you're going after a monster-sized fish, you need monster-sized equipment. For a weight, we're using a railroad spike, and we're using a big circle hook. We're gonna bait it with a fish head that's been cut from the rest of its body to give it some nice scent, and hopefully the sturgeon will home in on that. And here before long, we'll have a giant fish.
Excellent. Right there in the honey hole.
Like sawfish, sturgeon use their snouts to hunt for prey. They'll gulp down anything, from dead fish to shrimp and snails. With 2 lines in the water, it doesn't take long.
Woo!
You got him or?
We got him. Are you kidding? Yeah, we got him. Fish on, baby! That was quick.
Yeah.
All that sturgeon fishing was tough.
4 or 5 footers, my guess.
Yeah, white sturgeon. First 10 minutes. I mean, this is all right.
Brady's first sturgeon offers the chance to see how unique this fish is. It has a streamlined, shark-like body, a strange whiskered snout, and bizarre body armor. 5 rows of bony plates called scutes run down its back.
And they're actually a little hook almost on top.
So I guess when these guys are smaller, it helps protect them from being eaten by bigger predators.
Joe and his team are documenting the damage done to the sturgeon by certain kinds of fishing hooks.
There's metal.
So there's, yep.
Wow, so that means that there's a hook or a weight or something
Yep.
inside of it.
The circle hooks that Joe uses snag the fish at the mouth, but are easily removed. But by x-raying the fish, Joe's identifying the kinds of hooks that get embedded deeper inside. While they're still scanning the fish,
Oh, look right over there. Wait, right here.
a hit on the other line.
Oh, you feel that?
They were gonna hit here, so.
Oh, yeah. That's got some weight behind it.
This time, it's big.
Look at that rod. That is a stout rod, too, and it is doubled over. I'll tell you, I fished all over the world, and I've caught a lot of different types of fish. And I can't remember a fish that felt as heavy as this. You know, and it's almost like I'm gonna do whatever I want. Let's see if you can hang on. I mean, it's a slow, methodical run. He's still taking line out. Look at that. I mean, he's been taking line now for 3 or 4 minutes. Man, that is unreal how strong that fish is. Oh, it's a push. Ancient fish and me with an ancient back. You can really feel the power. I can just feel that tail hitting the line.
Circle. That one right there.
You know it's a big fish when you've been fighting him for about 15 minutes and you haven't even seen him. Look, he's under the boat. Remember, that was a bad sign in Jaws when he was under the boat. Oh, there he goes, another run. Oh, 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 oh. Are you sure this is a fish? Oh, he is coming up. I see him, I see him. Oh, he's huge. Look, he's a monster. Did you see him? God, I just saw a big white apparition come out of the abyss. Good gosh, there he is. Oh my gosh, look at the size of that thing. Oh!
Guys, now slide him on into the...
Don't lose him. Come on, you guys are toying with me. Get him in the cradle. Is it a capture yet? Woo! It's a capture! Woo, man! That is something. Giant white sturgeon here on the Snake River in Idaho. If it gets any better than this, I'd like to see it.
Joe and his team haul the fish into a sling to reduce stress.
Oh, that thing's gotta be 200 pounds.
What we're gonna do is put this hose in its mouth.
It's gonna put water over its gill so it can breathe while you gather your data.
First, the team needs to measure the fish.
You want me to go to the tip of the snout?
Yeah.
I got it.
Look at him cutting the corner there.
230,
230?
91 inches.
90, yeah. Right
A
at 8
hair
foot.
under 8
We'll
feet.
call it, and that's an 8-footer.
That's the biggest fish I've ever caught. How old do you think this fish is?
Oh, my guess is it's around 60 plus years old. 10-footers are 110 years old. So
this is a very long-lived animal.
This is.
Joe scans the fish for embedded hooks.
What's a good
Maybe not.
sign? I like to think that there aren't hooks inside the animal.
This fish seems metal-free. Now that Joe's got his data, Brady can explore the fish's snout and sensory systems for clues to the sawfish's saw. Up close, a big surprise.
That is unreal!
No, that's
I didn't know it would come out that far.
pull it out, pull
Check
it.
this out. Oh, it's like a protrusible.
The fish's mouth is like a giant vacuum cleaner.
That's how they kind of suck things off the bottom.
So no teeth in this mouth. So it's all just suction power. They find something that smells and tastes good, then they use that suction power and just suck it right up.
Yep.
That's incredible.
The snout also has 4 whisker-like feelers lined with taste buds outside its mouth.
Look at the size of those barbels. I mean, those things have got to be 3 inches long. I didn't know they'd be so rigid. Look at that. Yeah, so there are chemosensory organs all over these barbels, and they kind of use them as feelers. And they root around on the bottom, and if these barbels pick up a nice taste, then that big sucking maw goes into work.
And you're actually missing yet another one.
Joe points out tiny pits all over the fish's snout.
Each one of these little pits is a electroreceptor.
That's right.
So they're picking up electrical signals from their prey.
These pores form a network of jelly-filled canals lined with electroreceptors. They're arranged along the lateral line system, another set of sensors that detect vibrations and movements in the water. The electrosensors give the sturgeon a 6th sense, detecting the electrical currents given off by all living things and helping it zero in on prey. Taste, smell, touch, even an electrical field sensor. No wonder the fish looks the way it does.
A lot of people would say it's a hideous looking fish, and I think it's hit on a very, very successful body design. And it hasn't had to change over time, but man, I think it's beautiful in its own sort of peculiar way.
It's time to let the sturgeon go.
How far are we going with her?
Right there.
Look at the size of that thing.
You want to get a picture?
Are you kidding? The biggest fish I've ever captured?
All right, so turn it
Yeah.
over.
You ready?
All right, go ahead and lower it.
That's 200 pounds there.
So go ahead and grab the tail. if you want.
Whoa! Come on, big mama. She's swimming. Let her go.
Yep.
There she goes. Wow, she took off fast. Yeah! Giant white sturgeon on the Snake River right here in beautiful Idaho. That is incredible.
The sturgeon has spent millions of years honing a pronounced snout loaded with sensory systems. This design allows it to hunt in murky waters. It suggests the sawfish, with a similar lifestyle, could also be using its peculiar snout to sense prey. But would it give the sawfish any advantage to have sensors sticking so far out in front of its face? To answer that question, Brady's going after one last unusual fish. Found in a deep, rocky reservoir called Grand Lake in northeastern Oklahoma.
We need to look at one more freaky fish, an animal almost as weird as the sawfish itself. It's the paddlefish. It could be the key to understanding the sawfish's bizarre snout.
The paddlefish could provide the missing piece of the puzzle. Like the sawfish, it has a rostrum extending way out in front of its head, flat and made of flexible cartilage. It's like a sawfish rostrum, minus the teeth. The paddlefish suggests a super long rostrum is useful even without the teeth to skewer prey. Discovering how the paddlefish benefits from its lengthy snout could shine a light on why the sawfish looks like it does. Brent Gordon catches and tags the paddlefish to keep track of the population.
You're just trying to pull the net tight.
Although paddlefish are on the decline in other parts of the U.S., they're thriving in this well-preserved ecosystem. All Brent needs for his research is a long, sturdy net.
And the idea is they're just going to swim into our net. We're going to come back here later and hopefully have some paddlefish in the net.
Unlike sawfish that are sluggish bottom dwellers, paddlefish are constantly on the move, near the surface of the water.
Paddlefish is just swimming with its mouth open. It's just cruising
they're
around.
Just feeding machines. You know,
That's what my wife says about me.
Yeah. And that's what they do. They just swim around and feed.
They constantly swim. They never stop. They always swim. And if they're swimming, they're eating.
Right.
And they're eating zooplankton, very, very small animals, water fleas. They're called daphnia. But those small organisms are very high in nutrient value, which enables them to grow to such great sizes. I mean, this is a huge freshwater fish.
Yeah, it's second largest in Oklahoma.
You're talking about a 7 or 8 foot long freshwater fish, which feeds on tiny, tiny organisms.
Brady's hoping to see one of these monsters up close.
Now, will you feel them pull? Will you feel the weight?
Yeah, you'll eventually feel them if they're in there. But we got a fish in here.
You do? Can you feel it pulling?
Yeah.
I don't feel it. I think there's something right there. We got fish! That's a big one!
It's a good sized one. That's one.
Oh, look at the size of that thing! That's good! Oh, yeah, look at that! Ready?
Well, I can't.
Man, that's a killer! That's heavy! Oh! Come on, what's going on back there?
I'm not helping you much.
Oh! Oh! That is a spoonbill paddlefish there. That is great. Oh, and these are pretty hardy fish. Having them out of the water like this, it really doesn't hurt them.
They seem to withstand that stress very well.
Yeah. There it is, man, my first paddlefish.
It's like looking at a piece of living history.
God, it is such a freakish looking fish. This is an ancient fish, right?
Very, very prehistoric fish. They've evolved very little from the Jurassic period.
In fact, this fish species is far older than the dinosaurs. And it survived for so long because of a successful body design. Like the sawfish, it has the boneless skeleton, the shark-like tail, the long snout. But open its cavernous mouth, and it's a whole different fish.
You see this giant gaping maw that it has. These guys are filter feeders. They swim through the water column with their mouth open and just let water come into their mouth and out their gills. And they have these structures in their gills called gill rakers that filter out the plankton. Wow, look at that. Oh, I didn't know they were that long. Yeah, it's like teeth on a comb. It looks just like whale baleen. It's like a freshwater whale. It's like a baleen whale here in a freshwater riverine system.
Baleen whales, whale sharks, basking sharks. Some of the biggest fish in the ocean are filter feeders. Their massive gill rakers act like giant sieves, filtering the plankton out of the ocean water. The paddlefish has successfully adapted this body design to its freshwater habitat. So how does this filter feeder use its paddle? And what can it tell us about the sawfish's saw? The paddle has the same tiny pits found on the sturgeon's snout. Except here, they extend far out along the bill.
These black spots are the electroreceptors, and I see that the bill's covered in these electrosensory organs. They seem to be most concentrated along the periphery. They have a very dramatic swimming motion where this bill is swung side to side. They're using that as an antenna. So they're picking up this minute electrical field from these zooplankton. It's just beyond belief.
But how does it help the fish to have so sensitive a paddle? Michael Hoffman, a paddlefish expert at the University of Missouri, has found one good reason. Michael's experiment is simple. Several juvenile paddlefish in a tank, an electric wire in the water, an on-off switch. But the results are astonishing. When the switch is off, the fish swim by the wire with no reaction. But then, Michael runs a current of less than 1/millionth of a volt through the wire, the kind of weak electricity given off by tiny zooplankton. And this time, the fish attacked the wire. The electro-sensors on the paddle, far out in front of the fish's face, detect prey early, giving the fish extra time to react and zero in.
It's like an early detection system.
Yep.
That, hey, there's prey close by, and as it swims a little closer, bam. Once they pick that up, that's the direction they go.
This superb sensory system has helped paddlefish thrive in this plankton-rich lake. And by tagging all captures, Brent's tracking the fish population to prevent any overfishing. The paddlefish's super long snout acts both as an antenna and an early warning system. But is the sawfish using its saw the same way? Sawfish researchers at the University of Queensland put this idea to the test. And sawfish do react to an electric wire, almost exactly like the paddlefish. Electrosensors on the sawfish's saw act as an early detection system, helping it hunt with precision. As the fish sweeps its super long saw across the seafloor, the electrosensors scan a wide arc, picking up even the heartbeat of buried prey. The saw is not just a bizarre body part. It's actually a magnificent multi-tool. A dangerous weapon, a sensory antenna, and an early alert system. But so far, Brady's only seen this extraordinary saw on a juvenile. Sawfish grow huge with big saws to match. To complete his investigation, Brady's going to find an adult sawfish in the wild. Brady's heading to the untamed and unspoiled Andros Island in the Bahamas to meet marine biologist Dr. Dean Grubbs.
Just looked at you.
Dean's been working with the sawfish recovery team to satellite track the movements of adult sawfish in this region. His work will give Brady the best shot at encountering a giant sawfish up close and personal.
Dean, you've heard that this may be the best place in the world for big sawfish.
Andros is supposed to be the hot spot, man. We hear reports here of animals over 16 feet long.
We're in a really remote place, which is always good. There aren't many places you can go in the world and not see another boat anywhere on the horizon, so we're gonna need a lot of luck. But if there was ever a place to find one, it's right here.
Instead of baited lines, Dean has a search boat out. A few miles upriver, they're visually scanning the bay for adults, while Brady and Dean check these narrow inlets.
You see little mudded areas too. That's the other thing to look for. So that's usually either a stingray or a sawfish.
They're looking for any big shadow in the water.
Look at it right
Oh,
there.
so that's, man, I thought it was vegetation, but it's a ball of fish.
Big ball of fish.
That's incredible.
Although the water is shallow and clear, it's difficult to spot a sawfish.
But the problem is they blend in so well with the bottom, and they'll take on the color of the bottom to some degree as well.
Another thing that makes it difficult is out here we got big sharks, big tarpon, big rays. There's a lot of things that look...
Turtles, permit, I mean, there's just so many
give you silhouettes
things.
that look like the sawfish.
There's just so many targets to go check out.
Yeah.
You know? When you want to see a sawfish, everything looks like a sawfish.
I know.
As the boats close in, the team spots something big in the water.
He's pointing, it's right out here somewhere.
I'm gonna get the net ready.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's big.
Judging by the shadow, this time it does look like the big
it's
fish
big.
they're after.
How can you tell, man?
It looks like a stingray.
Okay, now what's the plan, Dean?
What we're gonna try to do is keep it between the boats and keep it going in here in the shallows.
Okay.
When we get it in shallow enough, then we'll jump in with these nets and try to get it.
He's turning. He's turning. That thing is really big. I mean, yeah, you talk about primitive, man, that thing looks like it's something from Jurassic Park.
It's a giant sawfish.
Man, we are looking at an incredibly endangered animal. It's such a rare treat just to even see this animal in the wild. If we're lucky enough to actually capture it and put our hands on it, man, it's gonna be a dream come true. Oh man, that is huge!
That's big.
That is
He's
big.
turning.
Watch out,
He's turning. It's Grant. Head him off. Head him off.
It's right here. All right, he's turning back.
The fish has sensed danger and is trying to break out to deeper water.
We gotta try to herd him into the shallows. We gotta get him in shallower than this. This is too deep to...
He's coming. He's still coming deep. He's coming right towards us. Come on, Brady.
Dean's going to keep blocking her, steering her back the other way.
She's under us. She's under us. Dean said the plan is we're going to hopefully try to get close enough to either get his saw caught in this net or this on his tail.
Right now.
It's almost impossible for me to believe that we're going to be able to capture a free-swimming fish who may be 13, 14 feet long with a dip net like this, something I use in my backyard to catch fish off my pier.
This is for salmon.
Well, I know. I don't understand. It just seems impossible to me. Man, he's fast. He's not going to let us approach him.
That's why we got to get him in shallow, where we're faster. We catch sharks like this all the time, big sharks, yeah, in the shallows. This is the technique.
Coming around the stern, I'm coming around your stern.
Coming to you, towards you, Grant.
Slow down, slow down.
Oh, come on.
She knows where shallow water is. This is a long haul. This is going to take us an hour to get him to the shore.
This is just stressful. I don't know if I can take an hour. I want him now.
Just real easy. Because the last thing we want him to do is bolt.
They herd the fish back into the shallows.
This is looking good.
You don't think that you guys could ease in the water and...
I don't think we could walk as fast as she's swimming.
Close in now. Come on, sweetie, head left. This has absolutely become just a test of wills.
I just want to jump on him.
You know, it's whoever gives up first now, I think.
Keep going forward a little bit faster. Okay, slow down. No, turn it. Heads up, heads up.
The team has to wait until she slows down.
Whoa! Right there. Oh, you touched her. You touched her saw. Must be getting tired because she's letting us get closer. It's almost like she's trying to hide in the silt.
Yeah, she's getting tired. That big rostrum, she can turn that big body on the dime. She's going where we want her.
Any minute now, we're gonna have a sawfish.
Now that she's tired, they begin closing in.
This is good. This is perfect right here. Just let her keep going. But keep the boats close together and try to stay on each side of her. We get the 2 nets on either side, and if just one tooth gets in this net, then it's over with. Like walking the dog.
There's her saw right there. Oh, man. She pulled her saw up and over the net. That was incredible. I mean, we had a net on either side. She pulled it up, over, and then made an escape. That's incredible. You can just tell how sensitive that snout is. She barely detected the net and moved the other way. And that thing is just loaded with sensory organs.
Oh my God, we had her right there.
They're so close, and yet can't net her.
Scare her to our left, if anything. Yeah, she's right under the boat.
I almost had her in the net then.
I could see the teeth on the saw. I mean, they...
So close. All right.
Oh my God.
Another foot and we would have had her right there.
So close. I mean, just...
Man, was she in your net for a sec?
Yeah, real close.
That was our chance.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job, Grant. Think she's tired enough we can jump on each side of her?
This time, Dean and Grant will jump in to corner the fish. It's a one-shot deal. Grant has to lasso her saw before she swims away.
Back off, back off. Get it, Grant, get it, Grant. Can you get it?
Get it, come on, get in front of her.
Got her.
Grant snared the saw and has to let her slow down.
Just don't want to damage the rostrum.
I got the rope on the tail.
The team has to quickly secure the saw and move her to the boat.
And if she tenses up, do not let go.
Don't you worry. Man, you talk about having a tiger by the tail. This is one delicate procedure. I didn't think we were going to do it. I got to admit, I had zero confidence.
With the sawfish safely secured, Dean can start collecting data.
It's a rare event to put your hands on a big sawfish. So anything we can find out about it is going to help better protect it, ensure its survival.
First up, find out exactly how big this giant is.
That sounds like a death wish to me. I mean, how are we going to do that?
We're going to have to be really careful because she will absolutely buck and try to hit us with that rostrum. She doesn't like that, though.
No. Well, the rostrum is very sensitive. I mean, it makes sense. Whoa, whoa, whoa! We got to hurry and do this. Man, my heart rate is just off the chart right now.
Right at about 10 feet.
Man, I guessed it was 11, and man, there were parts of that battle where I would have guessed it was 16.
The fish is getting restless, which makes what they have to do next even more dangerous. The usual way to age sawfish is by counting growth rings in their vertebrae. It's like counting tree rings, providing valuable data on an endangered species, but impossible to do on a living animal. Dean's colleagues are trying a bold new method to age the fish, but they'll have to take a tooth from the rostrum.
How do you get the tooth off?
We're actually going to use a small hacksaw.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure she's going to like that.
Yeah.
You don't need a saw while you hold it?
If you want to.
Yeah.
Just stay right at the base of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Sawing a tooth may be a new and humane way to age the fish, but it's dangerous.
It's getting close. Got it! Woohoo! Still got all my digits and we got a tooth, baby. That was nerve-wracking. All right, here, take it before I drop it overboard. Yeah, exactly. We are not taking another one. All right, what next?
I'm gonna have to get in the water to put a satellite transmitter on her.
This is the first satellite tag put on a sawfish in the Bahamas.
That's right.
That's really exciting, and an endangered species.
For the next 6 months, the tag will transmit data on the fish's movements to a satellite. Dean's hoping it will determine if the sawfish in the Bahamas are the same population found in Florida. Dean's findings could add to Greg's research, If they identify the full range of the sawfish's habitat, it'll be a crucial step in protecting the species. This investigation has given Brady a whole new appreciation for this freaky fish.
I mean, this is a dream come true for me, to reach out and touch not just an endangered species, but one that is fascinating and one that is very, very dangerous. I have as much respect for this rostrum on this animal as I have for anything I've come in contact with in the last 20 years.
You should have.
And you know what? We're all in one piece. I think we ought to cut her loose and let's get out of this before any accidents happen.
I agree.
This fish has one of the most original body designs on the planet.
Okay, now she's just held by the tail. Let her go?
Yep.
And the investigations helped unravel some of the mysteries surrounding its bizarre snout. The saw has helped the fish survive ice ages and outlive the dinosaurs. Unlocking its secrets could be the key to saving the sawfish.